So you went from Kevin De Bruyne to
to
Rodri.
so
Social media, they say, is a very, very strong weapon. And this young man might have just fired one of the most exhilarating shots. So far, so good. On the 20th of January, this young man sent out a hopeful tweet in a bid to achieve his dream. And within moments, his dream became a challenge, and he needed a large amount of numbers to fulfill it. Thanks to support from Twitter NG, thanks to support from the entire continent, if you may, the numbers came around and it all came alive. All of a sudden, 100,000 reposts came down to seconds, came down to minutes, and the dream was fulfilled. The challenge was completed. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, my name is Adam Baba Sulaiman, and this is the story of Olagreat. Ola, welcome.
thank
All
you.
right, thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
So, first things first, you mentioned you had a few words.
Yeah,
Let's
I
get it
do.
out.
Well, yeah, so many things. And basically, it's just life in general. Uh, when you're searching for something and you're preparing for something for a very, very long time and you just finally get that opportunity, it's it just comes in a way that yeah, you are preparing for this, but when it still came, it hits you like you are not prepared for it. But this whole thing, the whole buzz, the whole energy that has come out from this as massive, and I didn't expect it to be this way.
That tweet was just years and years and, a lot of accumulations across board. So
Yeah.
let's start from the very beginning.
Okay.
Let's give a simple introduction. Let's start with your full name. What is your actual name?
My name is Oshine Oladipopo
Okay.
Ayotunde.
Okay. So, how long would you say you've been playing football?
Well, I've played football all my life, so I think as long as I could kick a ball, I've been playing. Yeah, I get stick for go and do this, and you didn't do it when to go and play football. So it has been like that for all my life, basically.
Interesting. Let's step forward a bit. I mean, you've captured a lot of hearts now, but at what point did you know? I mean, you've mentioned you've been playing all your life, quite all right. I mean, every kid,
Yeah,
we
I do.
started out playing in the streets and all that. But at what point did you realize, okay, this is what I want to do as a way of life and not just an extracurricular activity or something just on the side that I do in my leisure time? This is what I want to devote myself to.
Yeah, I remember where growing up, I I grew up in Alabado. There's this field we used to play on then, it's under a power line, Adra field.
People like rough play. Oh. Ah,
Then growing up, then we used to play, and I used to see some guys there that used to play football. They train in the morning, and I when I'm moving around, I just see them, and I'm like, oh, wow, this is nice. I can play, but I've not seen that amount of dedication
hmm,
that they add to it. Then, like they are always there every time I'm passing. So seeing that, it dawned on me that I could do something like that. I could push something like that and try to do it. So when I got into secondary school, then I decided to do something in that stage.
tell me what you would define as your lowest moment. That point where you felt like,
Well, I've hit a lot of lows, a whole lot of lows, to be honest. And from the top of my head, I can remember now the losses I had personally,
okay,
and one of the major one was my younger sister, and it, it's one of the things when I try to talk about it again, I always feel bad. Aside that, I still use another low with my mom. In football too, I've had lows where I was expected to travel, but we still did not travel because one or two things happened that we don't know about. So all they just came to tell us was that guys won't be able to go anywhere. So
How were you able to battle through these moments? I mean, you mentioned, which is quite understandable, losing a loved one is naturally expected to put you, for a lot of, I think for any average human being, if you lose a loved one that is dear to you, it is normal for you to be shaken.
yeah,
So
yeah, true.
to now pull through that and still say you want to soldier on, you want to push through, what would you say your inspiration or your motivation was?
Football. That's just the truth. It's football because before I lost my sister, I was in the uni. We actually won the first edition of the um
Instinct
Instant
footer.
Futsal Football
Shout
League.
outs to footer, by the way, our alma mater.
So and we won the first edition. We've had so many experiences in football. I playing with Bright FC then. We've had experience where we actually traveled and we had games and won trophies together. So it was in the middle of winning the second that that particular moment came. And yeah, I lost concentration in a whole lot of things, but I still end up coming back to playing football.
So football was like an escape from
It's
reality.
it's always anytime I just wake up, oh, I'm going for a jog. I take my ball, go to this field. I'm always there Monday, Tuesday, almost every day of the week. And that was when we won the second when we won the
Second league title.
second league. That was back to back. So that it was the most emotional final we've had.
Looking at it generally, you are one of, if not the most decorated player when it comes to instinct footer football league. You won the league about 3 or 4 times.
Four times.
4 times.
Still the only person that has won it four
Of
times.
4 times. If you short for, if you easy, go run out. And you didn't even do it in one team. You did it with Bright. You went to
I
Airlight
actually had
Academy.
a team where a lot of guys in my particular set
Okay.
were playing together. Guys from URP, urban and planning department. Most
Mm-hmm.
of them were there, and I was in the team. I was from computer science, so they just called, oh, Olakon, you have to be in this team.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there. We didn't do too well. So the coach of Bright FC then, who happens to be a very close friend of mine, said like, okay, Olakon, come and join Bright FC, and one of the most amazing teams I've played in that period, and that was when we played with Bright FC and won everything with Bright FC.
You left footer being the most decorated player and all of that. Then you stepped outside. You stepped outside school, and more or less like you went under the radar. Next thing I know is Lagos Liga. But before we get to Lagos Liga, talk to me about after footer. The spell between after footer and
Lagos
Lagos
League.
Liga.
Yeah, well, before I actually left before footer, I left footer. I actually was playing with Superstar FC in Akure.
Okay,
It's quite how would I put it. Even my current team now is Superstar FC, so it's just always
it's been
been
a
like
thing for you.
always a thing. And when we play with Superstar FC in Akure, then we actually played the Fodan League. I was still in school when we were playing the Fodan League, the
Okay,
Akure Fodan League. 100 level when we came in, I won the best player for SOS, the SOS
faculty,
Cup, Faculty Cup. I was the best player in the
Dean's Cup.
tournament. Computer Science won it, the first trophy that computer science will actually have. And
You
so
broke a lot of
I
records in school. This man.
so when that happened, I got a call from a friend at the stadium that he had a coach that wanted to come see me, and the coach happened to be the coach who coached Victor Boniface.
Okay,
So Coach Blessing.
okay.
So he was my coach then, Royal Good Soccer Academy. So I was with him. He was my coach then, and he did everything. What I actually do today is because of him. He actually groomed me to being what I am today. That I
Wow.
won. So we did all that. Played with Superstar FC. Won the Fodan League with Superstar FC. We won it twice.
Wow.
And
So
then
good you had to do it twice.
I when I joined Royal Ghost Academy like fully, that was when I think we were second in that particular league.
Okay.
So from there it has been on and on, training in stadium, training with Real Good, played FA Cup. Like I played 3 times while I was still in school.
Okay.
So from there we actually had the Noga games that I actually had to not go.
I think I remember the
Yeah,
that one
that
caused a
was
little something in school. Then
a little
I
issue
remember that. I
I
remember that
shared,
story.
yes. So and apart from that, why I missed out on in the Noga,
Okay.
I actually got a bigger opportunity of being at the West African University Games during that
Okay.
same period. So all this have been going on while I was in school. I was still in school studying computer science, and I was still playing football too, doing all that. And when we were done with school, that was when my mom's case
I
happened.
remember.
So when that happened, I just actually had to go under the radar because she died in my arms. So I had to just
Oof.
go under the radar and try to find myself as much as I could. And yeah, I was still playing football because I still had to and to keep it. So Alex was the one who came and was like, "Ola, you just have to do this. You just have to do this, and you just have to come out of it, and you just have to push." And it was that talk we had on the phone then that actually got me out and said, "Okay, let's give it another shot. Let's try again." And trying again, I had to play for I. That was when I took Twitter seriously.
Okay.
So my first foray back on Twitter was when I actually saw a coach that said he needed players. That was what he put out, and I responded to that. Okay, I'm available, coach. And that was G Innovation FC,
Okay.
and that was when I started playing football again,
What
and
year
that's
was
been
this?
there. That's 2021.
2021.
Yes, doing that continuously, Twitter has always been that
Yeah,
particular
I
place
mean, I follow you from time, so
that has always been where most of the opportunities I've had as a footballer has come from.
how did you end up at superstars in all of this?
Yeah, that's one of the most amazing stories I've actually had so far. Yeah, it was just I know you remember the Jaros FC
Yeah,
and Jaros FC versus the X team.
I remember that game.
Yeah, so when the game was about to when the whole thing was being planned, I was following, but I wasn't really like when you put out your crafts and people see that yes you put out your craft, but you are not even seeing yourself in a way that oh maybe this is something that you want to be. So I've seen it, I just overlooked it. Only for a whole lot of guys to start like tagging me like Olagreat, you should be
You
here, you
have
should
to
be
do
here,
this.
you once you go and play this game. And you are ex footballer that you people are seeing you here. Like Twitter players that put out their craft and everything. And that was where I met Akim Onitolo. And when all that happened, I just had to go to the games. And I got to the game and I met a whole lot of people that I knew, even guys from school, people that actually do follow me and see what I've been doing. Like, oh wow, we need to come and see you and watch you play and that. And I was not supposed to be in the team,
Okay.
but I was in the team. I actually started the game. And while the game was going on, I looked at how everything was, and it was really amazing. Because when you see a lot of people that have said, "Oh, you have to be here," and they are there to support you. When the game was about to start, and they asked the midfielders are here, and I was like, "Yeah, it's a midfielder."
Okay. Now we know you're a midfielder. Defensive, central,
No, I'm actually
attacking.
attacking midfielder here.
Okay.
And then on that particular day, I actually had to play as a defensive midfielder.
So you went from Kevin De Bruyne to
to
Rodri.
so it's one of the things that they've always said to me in football, right, when I was young. Like, yes, you have your favorite position, but you should be able to do
Other
something
things.
in somewhere else. But we could do a few things in that game before I
Hmm.
got injured. Although we lost the game, but it was a good opportunity to actually show what you can do. In that X game was where met our current team owner for Superstar FC,
Mr.
Shedele.
Shedele. Big shout out
So
to you.
when that came, that was when he told us that okay, yeah, we are all coming together to start being in that team, and that's when we started playing. That's how I got to Superstar FC.
Let's look at it. Lagos Liga. I mean, it was not exactly the best of times. You guys were knocked out in the quarterfinals,
Oh,
which was quite painful because I was actually there. Well, that
uh,
game, the entire competition itself. Let's even look into it.
well,
What was that experience like? I mean, it was just 3 weeks, but
well, it's competitions generally are one of that the avenue to showcase what you have,
hmm,
and it serves as an avenue to actually know where you are and the level where you are as a player, the level where you are as a team.
hmm,
I just want to be in this tournament because it's a very big platform. I saw it as a very big platform, and of which, yes, it was actually a very big platform because
indeed.
it was the launch pad to what happens this particular period. And during that tournament, we had one of the best legs I've played with in Lagos State. That tournament was amazing.
I mean,
Even though it wasn't the way we wanted it to end, but it was really really amazing, and I'm really happy that Lagos Liga happened.
Lagos Liga ended in December, and the next thing in January. The day you put out that tweet, let's talk about that day itself, the 20th of January. Now we come to the actual piece. That day, in previous times, I know you've interacted. It used to be the Cadiz, the
I
Cadiz.
like Cadiz a lot
No,
actually.
first of all, the admin that runs that account, very very good guy because he knows how to interact with people and he just makes very very good jokes.
Yeah,
And I like his memes whenever they win and all of that.
definitely.
But I know you've had a little run in here and there with him.
We actually has interactions. We've talked. There are times they made this their online jersey for me. It's on
Mm-hmm.
my page, and I at that point I just had a very very close relationship with Cadiz as a team itself, where I actually still watch and see what they do, how they do it, follow their trainings, follow their. So I've come to love the city and see it like a place that I could actually want to be. I can give it a shot. Like let me just try and say, okay, Cadiz, what is it? Can I just come try out with your team? I did that for 25 days. I remember very
Yeah, I
well.
remember.
I got no response. Even though myself and the Cadiz admin we interact a lot, but for that particular thought,
Stint, yeah.
that's the no response on that, and I actually just stopped.
So
So
that day, why did you just shoot it out and say the Sevilla admin? What would it take?
I couldn't sleep. Sunday night, I couldn't sleep. That's on the 19th. I was uneasy. That was how I would say it, that I was uneasy, and that morning as I couldn't sleep, I just decided to go for a run. So I lifted the weights and did everything, do a whole lot of workouts, and I just came back into the room. I just sat down. So I was just going through the timeline, playing and talking, interacting with a whole lot of people that I interact with normally, and I just felt okay. Let's just do something different today. Instead of tagging Cardis, let's just tag Sevilla.
And
So I just put it out. I put it out. Actually, I wanted to go to sleep,
okay,
and while I was dropping the phone was when
the response.
the response came in. So it came to me as a shock because why would the admin, and
Respond.
I just when I saw it I was like wow, okay, 100k is a lot. This is how I visualize 100k. 100k is 5k more than the capacity of Camp Nou.
We are increasing our capacity now. Don't insult us.
So you understand where I'm going
Yeah,
now.
I
Now
understand.
imagine when someone tells you like, okay, I want you to fill a stadium with 100k people.
For context sake, with 100,000 people, you would Wembley is 90,000,
Yeah.
so you would overfill Wembley.
Yes.
The previous Camp Nou
Yeah.
was 99,000. You
Exactly.
would overfill that.
Yes.
Santiago Bernabeu,
It's 85,000.
85,000. you would overdo that.
Yeah.
You
And
are looking to
I will
exactly.
almost
I think
fill up the largest stadium in the world is
in North
150K.
Korea,
Yes.
250,000 people. You are like almost halfway there.
Halfway there. So
Wow.
that's how I visualized it. So when it came and I saw it, my response was like, Omo, Sevilla had not actually responded. I did not know how that just it just flew. It just flew, and people are like, "Oh wow, this let's see what we can do." Let's do that. And I just put it on my WhatsApp status, and guys are just like, "Oh, let's push this." Ola, we are pushing this. Don't worry. Ola, we are pushing this. Don't worry. And before I could even say anything, my guys, my mutuals on X were like, "Hey, we are gonna do this. Don't worry. We will do this. We will do this together." And start pushing it. Everybody were posting this, retweeting this, and everything. And someone just asked me that, is it this screenshot we are pushing, or is it your original post, or is it their reply? So I had to reply.
And
I said,
ask.
now this is where for me this is where it gets like I did not know how this, because normally when he actually replied with the 100K,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting another reply after the 100K. So I just asked, am I to report? Is it for my original tweet or for your reply? I didn't get any response
And I
for
remember it had been going for
3
hours
hours. I remember that three
bef-
hours, no response.
before they now came back. And then
The
we had to
screenshot I
start
put
afresh.
out about the response had already gotten to 20K reposts at that point. So I was like, how do we do this? I've
And
not
start
gotten a
afresh.
response. I don't know if I should push this. I don't know if I should push that. I don't know if just my original tweet. And it was just there. But my guy were like, don't worry, we will keep pushing. So at some point when they asked, I was like, okay, let's just do for everything. And we kept on doing that. Then 3 hours later, I got
You know what? For the sake of for fact's sake, I'm going to pull up the numbers as it stands currently. So the initial tweet that started the entire conversation that said that Sevilla's the one where you tagged Sevilla initially, how many reposts for a tryout? That one got to 39. That one is currently 39,000 reposts.
yeah.
The reply that actually got you the opportunity, that is currently at 135,000 reposts as I speak. It's viewed by 14 million people already. Then when you started asking and you started questioning and all of that, there's also all of that behind this. But primarily, let me know. You did all of that. You did the ups and the downs. But the point where you felt like it got out of your hand, because you came back. I remember at some point Louis came out and was like, if a million people have viewed it and you cannot get your 100,000 reposts, what exactly is going on? People started picking things like that and saying things. Then the next thing you know, I think it was Africa Fact Zone
Yeah.
that brought it up, and it gained traction across the continent. And later in the evening, next thing you see is ESPN Africa.
To that that experience was this that experience, I don't know how it just happened that at that point I just had to be alone. There was my brother actually just left home. Like we were together, but he just had to leave home. He went out to do some stuff, and I was just left alone in the house. At a point, I was just blank. Messages were
I
just
can imagine what my phone would look like.
I I was even so shocked that my phone at no point hanged. At some point, I was just like, this is my phone. I was just looking at it like, okay, how is this going to be? How is it going to? Then I got a friend of mine that was always telling me like progress reports. It was like, okay, we are at 25K. Now we're at 25K.3, 25.8,
So you
23.
were getting
So
mission
it
reports.
was, and just like that, it just kept moving and moving and moving and moving. And I couldn't even follow. I was just there. Then all of a sudden, my dad was calling me, what's
Ló
happening? My
ṣẹlẹ̀.
aunt's calling, what's happening? And then I just got to see that, oh, Sevilla was trending. That was like, then my guys were like, hey, Ola, you got Sevilla trending.
Now you
And it was on the table. And then my guys were like, I saw this on TikTok. Like, Ola, you did trend for TikTok, you did trend for TikTok. I was like, I don't even have a TikTok.
I think that ESPN one was just like the one that blew everybody's mind. And
It was massive because when that came on, that was the moment where I actually knew That's when I actually knew what had actually happened.
But
Like, wow.
it has happened and all of that. And after it happened, the only thing that I did was initially they sent a link about an under 19 team
Yeah.
and all of that. But aside that, what exactly do you know from the club right now?
Yeah, I know. Actually, I really want to be very, very appreciative for the opportunity the Sevilla has given to me, because if they had not done that, I don't think we would have gotten this that has happened, because the visibility they've given to my account has been massive. I'm just waiting for Sevilla to just say, okay, this is what we want to do.
Okay, so the club has not exactly, maybe reached out to you privately and said this is the exact.
No, 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 they have not done that. But yeah, I believe that there are so many other things. There are so many factors that are in place, definitely. To I understand how it feels like to get someone from one
From
place to the
social
other,
media.
like that. So I understand all that fact. But as at now, I'm just really happy with the visibility that has given to me.
In the meantime, I mean, I saw another tweet where he said any club would do and all of that, and some people were saying no. Now that one we will fight for. Naim
No,
suppose
it's just a way. It's something about the mentality of what it is that I want to do. This is me. I'm one person that always searches for opportunities. That's one thing I've always said, and one thing I've said about resilience. Once I'm looking for something, I always keep looking for it. So one that I've wanted was an opportunity. I tried it out with Cadiz, no response. I still tried it out with Sevilla, and Sevilla gave it. So it's still what it is that I am always in search of opportunities.
but let's even move away from the entire scenario of Twitter completely.
Yeah.
Let me just keep it simple now. Your footballing idol. I know the answer. And guys, he's going to tell you himself, that's for sure. It's not Ronaldo, it's not Messi, guys. But I'll allow him to tell you himself. And you need to explain to us why.
Oh, one of the greatest players that have ever graced football, actually, and it's Zinedine Zidane, Zizou.
Mm-hmm. Jesse number two. He chose a man that had butted somebody in the presence of the world. I mean, I'm not saying that's
you know,
who
that
Zidane is.
then looking at it at that period, like growing up, because I watched that with my dad. My dad loved football a lot, and he was the one that takes me out to go see a few things that I could do. I still remember when he took me out to watch the final, Teslin, the under 17,
Okay, you
and
went to that's what 2009 World Cup.
yeah,
You went to the
my dad actually took me to watch it,
hey. So you
and
have seen Tony Cruz. You have seen
I actually watched. It was the final. I actually went
just
to
the
watch
final.
just the final,
Okay.
and when we got there, that was the time I actually got the experience of being in a proper stadium as a kid, and I was actually really happy with that because it was massive then.
Your jerseys always carry number 15. Why not number 5?
Why not number five? Well, 15 happens to be my birth date,
Oh, okay.
and it's also a mixture of two numbers. The five from
Zidane.
Zidane and the 10 for my favorite position. There are sometimes when people ask, okay, why exactly do you? Most times, 15 has just been one of very big number for me. So if most of the players I've actually enjoyed watching have done that jersey, like Ramos. Sergio Ramos, he wore the 15.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen how when you look at players who done that jersey, have been there's a way they have this kind of work ethic to the things they do,
So
and that has been something I've always liked. Even when I play football, that work ethic has to be there. It's something you have to always do.
this has been very, very enlightening.
Yeah,
And I'm pretty sure everybody, I will be satisfying a lot of appetites because for a lot of people, this is just a guy that they reposted his challenge and they helped achieve a dream. But at least with this now, they have an insight into who you really are
yeah.
and what exactly you are all about.
But
So
there's still so much about me that is meant to be
if you
told.
want a part two of this, tell me in the comment section. I will be waiting. I can bring him back. No worry. He is everybody's celeb now. If I call and say, Egbon, come back. you go still come back.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you very much for this particular sit down. It's been very enlightening. It's been very captivating, and thank you very much. I really
I
appreciate.
really appreciate bringing me
I
on.
really appreciate.
Hi, my name is Dr. Kelechi Ayinkide. Make I put the doctor so they know say I get PhD. Popularly known as Kelechi FC, your local man, and I'm hanging out with the ultimate sportscaster.